Hey, family! We all have a story to tell. We all want to find our light. So, let's come together. Join me as I share mine of stardom to tragedy, motherhood, rebuilding my life, and love. With hope and joy as we go back to connecting with each other on my new show. So we're here shooting season 2 of After Dark with Kayise. And I think the timing is perfect because I've been pregnant with a lot for a very long time, since season 1. I'm now at a point where I'm really ready to share myself once again, with the world, but in a much more powerful way, yet vulnerable, but understanding of my purpose, understanding of the journey that I've been on. But also I'm quite certain, of what I want to achieve going forward for myself and this very, I think, personal project that I released 4 years ago. So the journey since season 1 of After Dark with Kayise, ever since releasing it, I thought the aim was to just share my story. I had not spoken about what I went through after, a life-changing event that almost took my life, but took my husband's life. And ever since releasing it, I think even on the day it was released, which was International Widows Day, it took a turn that I didn't expect, but also it didn't take a turn that I didn't want or embrace, because I was a widow who was grieving. And it sort of positioned me to anybody who was looking as the widow or the grief girl or the poster girl of grief. And at first it felt okay because that's what I was really going through. But at some point, as I was starting to heal and journey, it felt like there was nothing else that people could remember about me. It started to feel like there was nothing else to brand Kayise, if I can say. And I wanted to remind people that the reason that they even know about my story was because I was a talent that they loved, that they chose to be on their TV screens. And I found it difficult to, get out of that box. It reminded me, of myself. There was a lot of self-remembrance that had to happen. And in doing that, I had to journey back to Kayise Ngqula. And so I took a decision to leave it all behind. The city lights, the cameras, the action. And I decided to go back home to the Eastern Cape and really, really go back to my roots and understand where it all began for me.
It's been a long journey for both Kayise and just us as a family. I wouldn't go into detail about what happened. I think everybody's aware. But when she shared with me that she wants to pursue After Dark with Kayise, and she shared with me the message that she wants to put across, I couldn't agree with her more, because for me, it was about how she managed to rise up from the ashes after she had been through an ordeal. The one that is known by everyone, of course, is that one of her accident. But it's not just about that, We've been through wilderness as a whole family. And I think for her, when she came up with that concept, it gave us hope as a family and for her, because even though she had not yet got there, but she the thing with Kayise is that she's somebody who, when she puts her mind on something, she runs with it. She goes all the way. Nothing puts her down. That's one good trait about her. From a very early age, she's got a personality where she sees where she wants to go to. Without, digressing from what I'm saying, I mean, she's the star that was born, a star. I gave birth to a star, and then I didn't know, because she was always about being on TV, being on radio. I mean, literally, 3 years, So life happened for all of us. But I'm happy that she came up with book, because it means that it's something that was burning inside of her that she wants to rise from, and not just for her, for everyone, that has been through, some darkness, to say there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Going back to home in the Eastern Cape and going back to myself took a lot of courage. I don't think I could have experienced loss any more than that, because it meant I had to leave everything that meant everything to me. My purpose has always been linked to my job, and having after obviously started the show, and when I couldn't continue with it for various reasons, it felt like I had failed. It felt like I couldn't be anything more than just that girl who lost her husband. So taking the decision to go back home was a very personal one. I didn't share it with anybody. In fact, friends and even some family members, my grandmother herself, whom I went home to, received me that evening thinking I'm just home for a funeral. But 1 week became 2, 3 became 4, a month became 3. And before I knew it, I was home for a year. And in that journey, I had to go back to umachezi ndizalelwe. I think my childhood presented a lot of challenges, that I think many people might even relate to. I'm a child, from a family of divorce. And so that meant that there's a part of my life that I wasn't able to experience growing up. When I had to move to Johannesburg with my mother. So going home also was a process of restoration with my relationship with my father, a process of restoration with my paternal family, but also a restoration of, or maybe even solidifying my relationship with my son, whom I had to also, show up more for, but I couldn't in the way that I wanted, because the grieving had to go a little bit further than what I thought it was in the beginning. Discovering my son's diagnosis also changed me quite a lot, and my motherhood journey. And so that's what it's been like since season 1.
She's a special child. She's got a special gift. Other than the fact that, yes, she's been on radio, she wants to be on TV, and yes, the family members who have been in the space, but this one of her being a human connector is actually special. That's what's special about her. I mean, I wouldn't take that from her. It's what God has given her. It's what God has ordained her to be. And I'm happy that she has identified her purpose and she's pursuing it. And there's nothing better than to have an impact, a positive impact on other people. I mean, I've observed After Dark with Kayise season 1, and it was amazing, to witness many women who could relate, to her story. Her story made sense, it resonated with a lot of people, and many people, got courage, and took strength, and knowing that, even when life brings you down, but you can always come back. It's guaranteed, but you have to believe it. You have to believe in yourself. And yes, it will happen just like that.
So the journey of, conquering myself and, trying to get to a point of self-actualization and mastery was really about trying to understand who would I be without everything else that has been attached to my name. I had to extend myself to a little bit further than what loss presented itself to be. Because whether I believed it or not, my husband passing was external of me. It was not something that I could control. But the loss of myself in that journey and having almost lost my life changed me forever. And I couldn't find who I was anymore. I was desperately seeking answers about why things happened the way they did. And it just came to me like a voice from God. And he said, surrender, stop trying. Stop trying to be everything and everyone or somebody to everyone. And I remember that day vividly, when I moved out of my apartment. Thank you. When I moved out of my apartment with no plan, but it didn't feel like I didn't have a plan. It just felt like I was just going to a place where I'd be safe. Because I just didn't feel safe anymore, and I just wanted to feel that again. So I packed and I just left, And I remember a lot of my friends, calling, hey, can we link up? Where are you? What you doing? And I was like, girl, I'm not even in Johannesburg. Okay, when you coming back? I don't know. And yeah, man, it's the greatest adventure and chance I've taken on myself to go and really master my mind, my heart, my spirit, and not have to show up for anyone, just accept myself. I had to make hard decisions of even letting go of my child at some point so that I could really, really, really serve myself in the best way I could so that I could be better.
There's something that is called prophecy. For me, prophecy is about you being told or you understanding what is going to happen for you, through you, in the future. And when you receive that message, that this is what is going to happen to you, I think many of us quickly take it that this is going to happen now, And it takes one to understand that at the time when God whispers what you're going to be, there's still going to be a time for you to go through a season of training, a season of pruning, a season where God wants to refine you so that at the time when He uses you for what He has created or whispered you to be, you'll be that perfect, you'll be that perfect tool, okay? For me, the period, between season 1 and season 2 is just about that. Because interestingly, while, she came up with the concept and she pursued it, now that was the beginning of her, going through the process, being trained, because instead of her shooting up, she went on a downward spiral. And for me, it's how she has risen from that. But also what is important is how she embraced, the going down, during the process, and understand the process, not losing its sight of what still needs to be done. Because after dark, with Kayise is a baby, that was conceived, but not yet born. And it is the 9 months that she has been going through. Never mind that we refer it to the 9 months because that's when a human being, but with God's gift, it can be a number of years, depending on how you are receptive, and responsive to all the things that you still need to go through for God to say, now my child, go out there, you are ready to do it. And I think that's where she is now.
So the title, After Dark with Kayise, is very much different now to what it was in season 1. In season 1, I was seeking answers. I was seeking light because I was very much still in the dark. And so, by sharing my own story whilst I was in the dark and by inviting the people that I had on the show to come share their own stories about things that they had been through, but more importantly, about how they had overcome, is how I was seeking that light. But it still wasn't enough. I still needed to dig deeper. And when I did, it then really, really brought me to the light that I think we're at now in season 2, when I can really share that, the greatest project that anybody can ever work on is themselves.
She has come in full circle. And even so, I still think there's still a lot for her to learn and unlearn. Even the encounters that she's still gonna, experience will give her the opportunity, to learn more and develop more. There's no such as a perfect person. You see what I mean? But I can safely say that we're looking forward to see Kayise that is gonna do better than what she gave us before, and it's really interesting, and I'm looking forward to it because when she conceived After Dark with Kayise, like I said before, everything was still in its formative stage, even the baby, for example, that she had. There's a lot that we had not known about him. And I think most of the things that pertain to her, I will allow her, to talk more about those. Those are her personal experiences. I may be the mother, but I may not necessarily, articulate her experiences like she would, But I believe that she has gone in full circle, and she's got a long way to go. And I'm always here to give her all the support that she needs. I'm her cheerleader. She knows. I've always told her she's great. If there's one thing that I know that has took her to where she is, even when things seem to be very hard, but I always wanted her to know that the future is bright.
I think the rebirth of Kayise is all about going back to who she was always meant to be, not all the things that happened to her. And I think that's how I understand that some of the things that happen to us are not really, happening to us, but maybe for us, so that we can journey back to understanding how do we detach ourselves from them without even defining those things as who we are, never mind what other people may think or say about us. This rebirth represents an opportunity for me to do the things that I love, which is telling stories, being in front of the camera, and engaging and finding connection with people about the things that make life what it is. This rebirth represents an opportunity for me to live unapologetically. I've always wanted to try some of the things that I think I'm determined to try now and showcase within this season. And I think everybody's going to be really delighted to be able to see that side of me that is no longer quiet, because she was scared, because trauma does that. It took my voice away. And I'm really ready for my voice to come out through this platform that I've created for the people.
I'm happy about the woman she has become. I'm more of an observer than a talker. And obviously, where she is now, it gives me confidence. And I think I'm happy to actually visualize that Kayise is going to be successful in whatever way, because I love her spirit of, what drives Kayise is that she wants to succeed. She's a driven somebody. She is passionate about whatever she does. And most of all, for her, or rather for me, is about the fact that she is one child that I've raised out of my children that is able to balance things. I mean, even from her young adulthood, Kayise is a fun lover. If she wants to have fun, what she does it all the way. But when she has told herself now, fun ends here, then I want to be serious, she does that and she goes all the way. She's got a big personality, unlike me, she's just bubbly. She's got a big personality. She's just like that. And she does it, with this whole, she does it with her all, So I believe that even the success that she aspires to be, she will get there because she's very strong-willed. And I wish her all the best. I believe in her.
So we've expanded the direction of season 2 to really emulate who I am. I think everything that happened and what was put out there about me, never gave people a chance to really get to know me and not what happened to me. I've always been a girl who loves beauty, fashion, womanhood is important to me. I love my sisters, I love my girls. Personal development has always been important to me. And I think just holistic wellness, of how I can be a better person than I am now, psychologically, intellectually, mentally, spiritually. I've always been obsessed about those topics because they really, make me want to be a better person on a daily. And just being a mother, I'm in a different journey of being a mother. I understand my purpose in my son's life now. And it no longer feels like the burden it was when I was told that I'm raising a different child. So I'm really expanding the show so that it can showcase all these different facets of me about life, love, family, and I think God. Yeah.
The world is going through a lot. Almost everyone, is dealing with something in one's corner. And Kayise has experienced quite a number of challenges, with different dynamics and all of that. And I'm hoping that as her audience, there will be part of her journey that she'll be sharing with us, in which we will relate to it in one way or the other, and be able to, get the courage, the strength that we need from her overcoming those obstacles that she had. I hope she's gonna be that light, that we will just, the light that will just give light, in the city, in wherever she goes, let her be, let the audience, give her the platform, to share her experiences. She may not talk to everyone, but I would, I hope that, in one way or the other, she'll be able to touch, most people, and of course, people that she brings on her show, will be people who will also be sharing their life experiences and bring hope, to a world that is so hopeless, to a world that, people everyone is dealing with whatever. And it's just, we just don't know where we're going. But I hope it will just give one compass, to know which direction to take, as we watch her, as we learn from her, as we grow with her.
I think I'm more comfortable with the direction that we're taking with season 2 because I am happy with who I am. I understand that I don't need to live up to anybody else's expectation of who I am. And that's a really big, bold statement to make because I work in an industry where most of the time, we may think we need to be a certain way, show up a certain way. And I realized that I am enough in just who I am, with even the unfiltered and flawed parts of who I am. So I'm ready to open myself up to that because I want people to also understand that they are enough just as who they are, with their imperfections, but most importantly, with their, I suppose, their victories. There's so much that can be celebrated about who we are, and without trying to change parts of ourselves that we don't need to. So I've allowed that journey to, unravel itself within me so that I can really showcase what deep self-love and awareness is all about. I think After Dark, as particularly season 2, is going to provide an opportunity for us to all heal because I think that's what the world needs right now. The world needs outlets and spaces, particularly actually safe spaces, that is going to allow us to mask off what we have been told that we are, what society has told us to be, and really just live in the true essence of ourselves. I think, self-actualization it's not a destination, it's a continuous work. And I think we all are work in progress. And I myself am putting my first hand up to say, I want to learn from other people just as much as they can learn from me in how we can really elevate, this thing called life. I always like to quote Mama O, and that's Oprah, when she says, you've got to learn to rise to the occasion that is your life. And this is the occasion. The occasion is now. And if we know anything about occasions or events, is that they have some good parts, but also they have some bad parts where we just have to learn to ride the wave. And I think we're so much stronger and better when we're united in doing that for each other.